ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति ऐष्टिकी। हरे कृष्णा। टुडे वी कंटिन्यूइंग श्रीमद् भागवतम कैंटो फर्स्ट chapter 17 punishment and reward of Kali. Shloka number 36 to 38. Kali uvacha यत्र क्व वा अतवत्स्यामि सार्वभौम तव आज्ञया लक्ष्ये तत्र तत्र अपि त्वाम् आत्त ईशुशरासनम् तत्मे धर्मभृताम्
इंग्लिश भागवतम में जाओ।
तत्मे धर्मभृताम् स्थानं निर्देष्टुम् अर्हसि यत्र एव नियतः वत्स्य आतिष्ठन्ते अनुशासनम्। सूत उवाच अभ्यर्थितः तथा तस्मै स्थानानि कलये ददौ द्यूतं पाणं श्रियः सुना यत्र अधर्म चतुर्विधः। कलिः उवाच यत्र क्व वा अथ वत्स्यामि
यत्र क्व वाथ वत्स्यामि
सार्वभौम तव आज्ञया
सार्वभौम तव आज्ञया
लक्ष्ये तत्र तत्र अपि
लक्ष्ये तत्र तत्रापि
त्वाम् आत्त ईशुशरासनम्
त्वाम् आतेषु शरासनम्
तत्मे धर्मभृतां श्रेष्ठ
तत्मे धर्मभृतां श्रेष्ठ
स्थानं निर्देष्टुम् अर्हसि
स्थानं निर्देष्टुमर्हसि
यत्र एव नियतः वत्स्य
यत्र एव नियतः वत्स्य
आतिष्ठन्ते अनुशासनम्
आतिष्ठन्ते अनुशासनम्
अभ्यर्थितः तदा तस्मै
सूत उवाच अभ्यर्थितः तदा तस्मै
स्थानानि कलये ददौ
स्थानानि कलये ददौ
द्यूतं पानं श्रियः सूना
द्यूतं पानं स्त्रियः सूना
यत्र अधर्मः चतुर्विधः
यत्र अधर्मः चतुर्विधः।
कलि उवाच
कलि उवाच
यत्र क्व वा अथ वत्स्यामि
यत्र क्व वा अथ
अथ वत्स्यामि
वत्स्यामि
सार्वभौम तव आज्ञया
सार्वभौम तव आज्ञया
लक्ष्ये तत्र तत्रापि
लक्ष्ये तत्र तत्रापि
त्वाम् आत ईशुशरासनम्
त्वाम् आत एषु श्वरासनम्
शरासनम्
शरासनम्
तत्मे धर्मभृतां श्रेष्ठ
तत्मे धर्मभृतां श्रेष्ठ
स्थानं निर्देष्टुम् अर्हसि
स्थानं निर्देष्टुमर्हसि
यत्र एव नियतः वत्स्य
यत्र एव नियतो वत्स्य
आतिष्ठन्ते अनुशासनम्
आतिष्ठन्ते अनुशासनम्।
सुत
सूत उवाच
अभ्यर्थितः तदा तस्मै स्थानानि कलये
ददौ
द्यूतं पानं श्रियः सूना
द्यूतं पानं स्त्रियः सूना
यत्र अधर्मः चतुर्विधः
यत्र धर्म चतुर्विधः।
Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada. Oh, your Majesty, though I may live anywhere and everywhere under your order, I shall but see you with bow and arrows wherever I look. Therefore, O chief amongst the protectors of religion, please fix some place for me where I can live permanently under the protection of your government. Suta Goswami said, Mahārāja Parīkṣit, thus being petitioned by the personality of Kali, gave him permission to reside in places where gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter were performed. Purport. The personality of Kali could see that Mahārāja Parīkṣit was the emperor of all lands all over the world, and thus anywhere he might live, he would have to meet with the same mood of the king. The personality of Kali was meant for mischief, and Maharaj Parikshit was meant for subduing all kinds of mischief-mongers, especially the personality of Kali. It was better, therefore, for the personality of Kali to have been killed by the king and there instead of being killed elsewhere. He was, after all, a surrender soul before the king, and it was for the king to do what was required. The personality of Kali addressed Maharaj Parikshit as the chief amongst the protector of religiosity, because the king refrained from killing a person who surrendered unto him. A surrender soul should be given all protection, even though he may be an enemy. That is the principle of religion. And we can just imagine what sort of protection is given by the personality of Godhead to the person who surrenders unto him, not as an enemy, but as a devotee servitor. The Lord protects the surrender soul from all sins and all resultant reactions of sinful acts. Bhagavad Gita 18.66. The basic principles of irreligiosity, such as pride, prostitution, intoxication, and falsehood, counteract the four principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. The personality of Kali was given permission to live in four places, particularly mentioned by the king, namely the place of gambling, the place of prostitution, the place of drinking, and the place of an animal slaughter. Srilji Goswami directs that drinking against the principle of scripture, such as the Sautramani Yagya, association with women outside marriage, and killing animals against the injunction of scriptures are irreligious. In the Vedas, two different types of injunctions are there for the uh, pavitras, pravrittas, or those who are engaged in material enjoyment, and for the nivrittas, or those who are liberated from material bondage. The Vedic injunction for the pravrittas is to gradually regulate their activities toward the path of liberation. Therefore, for those who are in the lowest stage of ignorance and who indulge in wine, women, and flesh, drinking by performing Sautramani Yagya, association of women by marriage, and flesh eating by sacrifice are sometimes recommended. Such recommendations in the Vedic literature are meant for a particular class of men and not for all. But because they are injunctions of the Vedas for particular types of person, such activities by the pravrittas are not considered adharma. One man foods may be poison for others. Similarly, what is recommended for those in the mode of ignorance may be poison for those in the mode of goodness. Srila Goswami Prabhu therefore affirms that a recommendation in the scriptures for a certain class of men are never to be considered adharma or irreligious, but such activities are factually adharma and they are never to be encouraged. The recommendations in the scriptures are not meant for the encouragement of such adharma, but for regulating the necessary adharma gradually toward the path of dharma. Following following in the steps of Maharaj Parikshit, it is the duty of all executive heads of states to see that the principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, are established in the state, and that the principles of religion, namely pride, illicit female association, or prostitution, intoxication, and falsity, are checked by all means, and to make best use of a bad bargain. A personality of Kali may be transferred to places of gambling, drinking, prostitution, slaughterhouses. If there are any places like that, those who are addicted to these irreligious habits may be regulated by injunctions of scripture. In no circumstances should they be encouraged by any state. In other words, a state should categorically stop all sorts of gambling, drinking, prostitution, and falsity. The state which wants to eradicate corruption by majority may introduce the principles of religion in the following manner. One, two compulsory fasting days in a month, if not more. Austerity. Even from the economic point of view, such two fasting days in a month in the state will save tons of food, and the system will also act very favorably on the general health of the citizen. Second, there must be compulsory marriage of young boys and girls attaining 24 years of age and 16 years of age respectively. There is no harm in co-education in the schools and colleges provided the boys and girls are duly married. And in case there is any intimation connections between a male and female student, they should be married properly without illicit relation. The Divorce Act is encouraging prostitution, and this should be abolished. Third, the citizen of the state must give in charity up to the 50% of their income for the purpose of creating a spiritual atmosphere in the state or in human society, both individually and collectively. They should preach the principles of Bhagavatam by A. Karma Yoga, or doing everything for the satisfaction of the Lord. B. Regularly hearing of the Srimad Bhagavatam from authorized person or realized soul. C. Chanting the glories of Lord uh, congregationally at home or at place of worship. D. Rendering all kinds of services to Bhagavatas engaged in preaching Srimad Bhagavatam. And E. Residing in a place where the atmosphere is saturated with God consciousness. If the state is regulated by the above process, naturally there will be God consciousness everywhere. Gambling of all description, even speculative business enterprise is considered to be degrading, and when gambling is encouraged in the state, there is a complete disappearance of truthfulness, allowing in young boys and girls to remain unmarried more than the above mentioned ages, and licensing animal slaughterhouses of all description should be at once prohibited. The flesh eaters may be allowed to take place as mentioned in the scripture and not otherwise. Intoxication of all description, chewing tobacco, or the drinking of tea must be prohibited. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Am Sri Guru Sri Tapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganaragunataन्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान्
Krishna Pada
ललिता
Sagana
श्री
Shri
विशाखान्वितं
Vishakhanvitam
नमो ओम विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते
Saraswati
देवे
Devi
गौरवाणी
Gaurani
प्रचारिणे
Prachari
निर्विशेष
Nirvishesha
शून्यवादी
Shivadi
पाश्चात
Bhashya
देश तारिणे
Shatari
वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च
Chakalpatarusya
कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च
Kripasindhubhya
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण
Jai Shri Krishna
चैतन्य
Chaitanya
प्रभु
Prabhu
नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद
Srivasadi
हरे
Hare Krishna, Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna,
कृष्ण कृष्ण
Krishna
हरे
Krishna,
हरे
Hare Hare,
हरे
Hare
हरे राम
Rama,
राम राम
Rama
हरे हरे
Hare
हरे कृष्ण
Krishna,
कृष्ण कृष्ण
Krishna
हरे
Krishna,
हरे
Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
हरे राम
Hare
राम राम हरे हरे हरे
Rama.
कृष्ण we continuing chapter 17 of Srimad Bhagavatam canto first. Here we try to understand shloka number 36 to 38. uh, how what Kali told. They describing about the four principles of religious in detail. Uh, Mataji will told us in detail. Hare Krishna. Welcome to Mataji.
Hare
Gaurangi
Krishna,
Shakti
Mataji.
Mataji will told us.
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, I seek blessings of all senior devotees over here, and I'm thankful for this opportunity. I have a very nice, recent experience which I want to share, and so this opportunity has been given. Thank you, Mataji. When we see this, Kali is coming to Maharaj. Maharaj Parīkṣit has noticed the activities of Kali, and then he wants to punish Kali. So, Kali is afraid. He is mentioning, "Oh, Your Majesty, though I may live anywhere and everywhere under your order, I shall but see you with bow and arrows wherever I go." He is afraid. I mean, Maharaj Parikshit is extremely powerful. He's afraid. Yeah. So therefore, he's saying that, "Oh, chief, amongst the protectors of religion, please give me some fixed place, where I can permanently live under the protection of your government. Huh? So where I can lawfully stay, where I can lawfully stay." So, and then obviously the rest of the part of the shloka where Srila Sutta Goswami mentions that which are the positions which have been given to Kali. Before we can proceed to that, I just want to narrate a small incident that recently happened. As a teacher, when we teach the students, many times when the students, especially in this era, we notice that students, they are so much with their gadgets and so much into study and prepare for their for future exams and all. So they tend to bunk classes. And when they bunk classes, but they need attendance because that is required for appearing for the final exams. So they tend to ask their friends to give their proxy. So I was just wondering, how I could correlate this particular aspect, imagining that a student who is giving a proxy or whose proxy has been given is like Kali, and when they are caught red-handed, when they come in front of the teacher, they are afraid. They know that they have to deal with this particular teacher because they'll be assessing us, they'll be marking us, and accordingly we will be promoted to the next year. Yeah, so they are afraid, but at the same time they need their space to continue their mischief. Yeah, and then at that particular time, as Maharaj Parikshit had very thoughtfully given them certain some particular place for Kali Yuga to stay. Uh, can some everyone mute themselves? So as I was explaining, between the parallels between as a teacher, when I experience that there are some mischievous students and who tend to give proxy. So if a teacher has to punish them, yeah, she will give them certain guidelines. You have to act in this particular way. If you misbehave again, then there is going to be a punishment. Okay, and that is how even Parikshit Maharaj is dealing with Kali Yuga. He's giving him opportunity. He's giving him opportunity to live in which all places, as we can see, he has given him permission to reside in places where gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter. These are the four things which are performed. Okay, later on we will see what Kali says, regarding these particular things in the kingdom of Parikshit Maharaj. Okay, but these are the things. Today we can see gambling very, very prominently seen everywhere. Every other message that you get is Rummy message. Okay, click this particular link and you play Rummy. No, what is Rummy? It's gambling. Yeah, so many students, so many youngsters, they are so much addicted to that Rummy. Apart from that, so many other things that do exist for actual physical gambling, drinking. very common. Everywhere, whether there are college institutions or office place, everywhere we see in the institutions officially nobody can permit drinking. Yeah, so in the hostel there are always rounds which are occurring, whether the students are having some intoxications or not. And many times we have seen in private or in even government institutions, students tend to possess certain drugs, etc., which they cannot. They are ideally not supposed to. They are intoxicated. Then what is the thing? One has to suspend them. The authorities have to suspend them. Yeah. So yes, this is very rampant. Drinking, gambling, prostitution. Now, what to speak of prostitution when we are going to discuss what recommendations Srila Prabhupada has given? I mean, this prostitution word, which was initially such a limited thing to only a particular red light area, today the entire society has become red light, and I would say only few homes, probably of sincere and strict devotees, they are remaining as maybe green homes. Yeah, rest everywhere in the world, everything has become a prostitute place. Okay, how we can definitely discuss animal slaughter. Okay, when we see, according to statistics, it may be mentioned that some 10 to 15 or maybe 30% of the population of the world is vegetarian. I mean, that 30 is again questionable because they add even egg, etc., in their concept of vegetarianism. Okay, so like we may say, handful people who are vegetarian, and amongst those handful people, a very 0.000 point size of devotees who are leaving aside even those elements from the vegetarian diet, which will make them sattvic. So it's far lesser size of population. So yes, even animal slaughter is so common, not only for purpose of eating, but for so many other things, for the purpose of preparing cosmetics, preparing medicines out of the blood and the bones of the animals, especially cow slaughter that is happening. And that is the reason we should be very careful when we are choosing such kind of cosmetics or products, or even when we are prescribing such kind of medicines like iron, etc., to the patients. We have to understand what source it has come from. And if it is not the right source, then it is better that we stop and give the patient what is the right thing to be given. So we need to understand the entire pharmacy, the entire industry, pharmaceutical industry. Okay, now just thinking about what Srila Prabhupada is recommending. What an amazing statement Srila Prabhupada makes. Okay, Srila Prabhupada is speaking about Pravritta Marga and Nivritta Marga. So there is a acceptance. Vedas accept that when individuals are there are going to be tendencies of sense enjoyment. And so a certain specific rules and regulations have been set. Okay, you have to do this way, then it is okay. Okay, so which will gradually help one to elevate to the level of becoming a Nivritti Marga. So a person on the Nivritti Marga is on the path of, is regulating the activities towards the path of liberation. Okay, so that will happen with the Pravritta Marga. They will come to that gradual step by step progression towards the path of liberation by following the injunctions of the Vedas. Okay, there are so many injunctions of the Vedas. But here for the Nivritti Marga, Srila Prabhupada is saying that there is no need of any such sense and enjoyment. Straight away, one should follow the path of Bhakti Yoga. Because there are injunctions of the Vedas for particular types of persons, such activities by pravrittas are not considered adharma. Okay, this is one statement because it is from the Vedas. But then a second statement Srila Prabhupada makes that, however, actually these are not recommended at all. One man's food may be poison for others. Similarly, what is recommended for those in the mode of ignorance may be poison for those in the mode of goodness. So, if already a Nivritti Margi who is on the mode of goodness and he can go beyond, okay, then he need not look at the Pravritti Marga. अच्छा, okay, इसके लिए ये rules है तो मैं भी यही rule follow करता हूँ. You know, for this person, he is allowed to, particular day speak in the ear of the animal whom the slaughter is being done, that okay, I'll also get a birth similar to you in the next lifetime, and then you can kill me like I am killing you. Okay, and then he can kill and cook and eat that particular flesh. Okay, so that is okay for a person who is in the mode of ignorance, because let whatever be, he needs that taste, he will go for it. Okay, but then this particular mantra has been given. Gradually, someday he may realize the meaning of that mantra, he may realize what is being spoken, and then he will say, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah, but for a person who is already on the mode of in the mode of goodness, nivritta marga, why should he why should he be affected by the Vani of the Vedas, which is stating that okay, this non-veg food may be allowed at certain points of time? He's beyond that. He is not required to practice all those things. Okay, so like that, for every aspect, whether it is taste or any other sense, for every other sense, there are certain injunctions in the Vedas for individuals who are in the mode of ignorance and passion. But for individuals who are already in the mode of goodness, who can very easily understand the purpose of the human form, all these things are not required. This is very beautifully mentioned by Srila Prabhupada. And with the time, I'll just speak about the last few things that Srila Prabhupada mentions. Beautiful. Now, just imagine, I was speaking about the prostitution concept. Recently, I came across recently, but these things are existing since many, many years. Okay, nearly 10, 12, probably 15 years prior to it, that there are institutions which are promoting the live-in relationships amongst the elderly individuals. Okay, they create picnics of individuals who are singles or even married elderly individuals who want to get out of their relationship. So they can take such individuals on picnic, and then they create what we would say couples from the picnic, and then these couples, without marrying, they stay together. And definitely, it is the staying together is not just for the sake of staying together. It is obviously for sense gratification, and most importantly, for having sex. So this is the kind of society which this is happening in India since last 15 years. Yeah. So this is the kind of thing the society is promoting today. What kind of level of prostitution is this? Then it is, speaking about the
1 minute remaining.
yeah. Then speaking about the live-in relationship amongst the younger generation is what can we speak about it? That is why whatever Srila Prabhupada is recommending over here, that the children, the boys and the girls should get married at the appropriate age, is very, very important. And definitely we have all gone through all these recommendations by Srila Prabhupada, fasting for 2 days in a month at least, compulsory marriage of the girls. The citizens should give charity so that the bhakti cult can be taught, and the society can benefit from this particular chanting of the holy names and bhakti process. Thank you so much. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji, and all devotees. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.